Hello everyone, it's Shay here from Pro EMP, and today I'm going to be reviewing this UAD BX Masterdesk plugin. This is a all-in-one mastering plugin. It's something that I'm very skeptical about. It's something that I downloaded yesterday with the new UAD console update. As you can see here, I've got 13 days left of the demo. I haven't gone out straight away to buy this. Like I said just before, I'm very skeptical of things like this. I like to master things individually in terms of processes. So I like to have an EQ that I like to have a saturator that I like to have each individual process as its own plugin so I can move around the chain and add in what I want and when. I was very skeptical of Ozone, and then they kind of won me over with the newest version, Ozone 8, where you can pick your processes and put them in order of where you want them, and the processes themselves are quite good. But the announcement of this a couple of days ago sort of pricked my ears up a little bit because it is an all-in-one, like, big knob looking plugin. Looks quite good. I know that Brainworx is an excellent company and they make some very, very good plugins. I haven't used this yet. This is literally, I've just opened it and I downloaded this last night. I didn't really have time to go into it properly, so I thought I'd just do the video as I open it. So I've done a little bit of reading on this plugin, and what I've noticed, or what I've read up on so far, is that you have all of these different processes, but I'm not sure how they run into each other. I'm not sure what the signal flow is. But how it runs is you've got a volume control, which is one of the bigger knobs where you're pushing into the process. You've got a overall compression mix, so I take it this is like the parallel type function. You've got a de-esser, which I'm probably not going to be using. You've got this foundation, which I was just a bit weirdly named. I mean, this is basically just a tilt EQ from what I've read. Total harmonic distortion, output trim. You've got this EQ section, which is labelled tone, so added bass, mid, treble and presence. You've got a mid-side section where you've got a mono maker and a stereo enhance, which I'm quite looking forward to trying this out because I do like to enhance stereo width on things. You've got these compressor modes, and from what I've read so far, all the literature says that it starts off quite aggressive and then gradually from 2, 3 and 4 gets softer in its compression characteristic. Compressor link, so you can link left and right, and limiter turbo, which from what I've read it gives a more aggressive threshold ratio and ceiling. Resonance filters, so you can filter resonances, I suppose. And that's pretty much the rundown of the plugin. You've got an output and an input monitoring section here with a dynamic range meter, so like the dynamic range meter that BX do. This is basically that. So let's get straight into this. This is a drum and bass track that I've been working on recently, very recently, in the last day or two. This is an unfinished mix. It's just something that I've stopped at this point to send to vocalists for top line ideas. This is a -3 drum and bass mix, and I thought this would be a good one to try. So I've split this into sections. I've got my intro, drop, verse, breakdown, drop, secondary drop or elision, and then outro. So I'm going to play this through without the plugin on so you can hear what the track sort of sounds like. I'll go from the second half of the intro and then play through the drop so you can hear what the track sounds like. So I'll leave it just there, you kind of get the idea. You can see from the metering here, I'm at about -19 on the LUFS, same for the RMS, and the peak is at a -3.4. There's a couple of rogue peaks as we get to the secondary drop that lift it up to about -3, as there's a couple more synth parts in the secondary drop. But that was with this bypassed. So right, I'm quite excited about this now. I'm just going to turn this on. I'm going to go to the secondary drop actually and work from the secondary drop here. So let's have a listen to this. So it's fairly nice as you just turn it on. It sort of gives it a little bit of a push forward in the mix, gives it a little bit more volume. Now let's start tweaking about this. So I'm just going to carry on playing this drop around as a loop, and I'm going to tweak as I go in and see how far I can push this. Wow. Okay. I'm genuinely surprised at how good this is. This is easily one of the better all-in-one plugins. This is really good. This stereo enhancer is very nice and open, and it doesn't mess with the phase that much in terms of how I'm hearing it. This is good. Total harmonic distortion, I'm not really hearing that much. I may still use another saturator, probably before this, because this is limiting, but I mean that's not that bad. I can get a lot of volume out of this, so I'm pushing 7 dB into this, so I'm really giving it 4 dB from 0 as my track was already at -3. The compression types, I prefer the harder one, especially for electronic dance music, to get that push and to get that punch out of the track. The turbo limiter I think is a very good addition. It kind of gives an extra push, especially into the sides in conjunction with this stereo enhance. It does bring the sides up quite nicely. This presence knob reminds me of the Slate Digital Air, which is quite nice, and the bass one of the Slate Digital Earth. These are quite good. Mid's nice and clean without being too muddy. Treble's nice and clean. This is actually a very, very good plugin here. So right, I'm going to go out and then in one more time. Let's have a listen to what we've got here. So it's really open. Let's turn this down a bit. I've gone a bit too overboard there. I'm going to leave this pushing at 7 dB, but I'm going to put my output trim down to -3.3-ish. So we're getting the same in as we were out. So let's have a listen to the difference between the two at the same output volume. I mean, that's crazy. That's really good. That is really good. I like that quite a lot. It is quite bright. It is very bright in its sound, considering that I've not actually put that much brightness on. I mean, on a level of nothing to 30, I've got 2 on the treble and 3 on the presence. So I've not really cranked it that hard, and it has got very bright, if I'm honest. But it's not hard, nasty bright. I mean, another EQ after this, and maybe a safety net limiter. So maybe something like a Pultec EQ with a smoother top end would be quite nice after this. But this plugin is kind of meant to be the one and only, or the everything in one. So maybe a few little bits extra that I'd stick onto this. But all in all, this is a very, very good plugin, and I'm very pleasantly surprised. I've kind of been shut up by this. This has humbled my opinion a bit. Like I said before, Brainworx is a very good company. They know what they're doing. Everything that they've brought out plugin wise has sounded very, very good. Like their console plugins are excellent, but this is an all-in-one is really good and a great addition. Kind of annoying because I'm probably going to have to buy this now because I'll use this for around 13 days non-stop. Then I'll have to buy it. What we've got out of it in terms of levels, I was going up to around about, if I just push this back to 0.2 on the output, I was pushing this so I was getting close to 10 dB RMS, so minus 10 RMS. That's kind of an area that I like to stick at with drum and bass. I think going any harder than that, and I do lose a bit of dynamic. I'm not one for being loud for the sake of loudness. I like things to be loud, but I don't want them to be over loud just for the sake of loudness and then compensate the dynamic of my mix. Streaming wise, Spotify is always at minus 14, so it's a hard one really, because the more you drive this, the closer your LUFS is going to get to your RMS. So I'm probably looking at about minus 11 to 12, something like that on my LUFS, which isn't that bad. It will still be brought down, but it won't be brought down as much if I'd slam this to minus 6 RMS, for instance. So that's the review of the Masterdesk. Overall, out of 5, I would easily give this 4 stars. I think that's quite fair. The reason that it's lacking the stars is this. I didn't like this at all. I thought this was kind of pointless, really. It just either took all of the bass out or all of the top out, like a tilt EQ. And for it to be one of the main knobs in it, no, I don't know. I don't think I didn't use that. This, excellent. The amount of drive you get from it. The parallel compression that you get from it, so the compression mix. Total harmonic distortion, pretty good. But the MS versions, the stereo enhanced, brilliant, very good. Mono maker, making stuff mono, it's kind of what it is. But overall, very, very pleasantly surprised by this plugin. If you want me to review any other plugins in terms of electronic dance music and what they do for it and my opinions on it, please just write in the comments and I will review it for you. So thanks very much. I've been Shay and this is Pro EMP.